They're finally here. The Larry and David Show, starring Larry Fry and the king of TikTok, David Bronstein.
How are you?
Hi, lad. Nice to see you.
Nice to see you, too. It looks like you're getting a lot of kisses there. I had my first dog. She passed away 10 years ago. She was 40, about 25 years, 30 years ago. It was a border collie. Gorgeous little border collie. My best friend. It was actually my wife's dog. In fact, she was so smart that when she was 6 months old, my wife took her for a while to walk 3 miles to this park and let her run loose downtown. So she walked through all these side streets and everything like that. And all of a sudden she's talking to somebody, one of her friends. She doesn't see the dog. The dog took off. Doesn't know where the dog went. The dog, she's frantic, running around, looking and looking. She decides she's going to go home and get her car and start doing a massive rescue. She comes home, the dog's sitting on the porch. 3.5 miles by itself. Smart dog. Who needs a GPS? It was incredible. It was just absolutely incredible. And the dog was bright all along. The only thing that freaked her out was thunderstorms and fireworks. That would freak her out. In fact, thunderstorms freaked her out so much that if I said the word thunderstorm, she'd hide under my desk.
Yeah, I grew up in Philadelphia. I had a dog, but my neighbor's dog was Toots, Toots, a great dog. But that dog also was afraid of thunderstorms and fireworks. And my dog, Lassie, I called my dog Lassie. It wasn't a collie, but when I was a kid, my neighbor said, isn't your dog afraid of... I had a cap gun or something when I was a kid or whatever I was playing with. And I said, no, and every dog I've had is never afraid of fireworks or thunderstorms.
Never.
But no,
that's not very unusual because usually dogs are very sensitive.
Yes.
Were your dogs all there, or do they have a mental condition?
They're terrific. So your wife's dog, the collie, was downtown. Is that what you said?
Yeah, they were living downtown at the time. This before we got married.
And somehow, the dog 3 miles away from the house found
her way home before my wife could get home.
And walked in the streets or wherever it walked?
Wherever it walked by itself. And it found its way.
Isn't that fantastic?
Unbelievable. I was going to... This has to be written down. It's like clockwork. It's not a problem. Not an issue. So tell me about your dogs. You had the Life of Times. You had... You got a Dachshund right now, right?
Yeah, but
Riley.
This is my kid... Yes. The one that won't leave me alone ever. This is my kid's dog. My kid wanted a dachshund, and he saw online a dachshund, maybe on Craigslist for $700. Just the mother gave birth.
Right.
So we went to St. Clair Avenue. We went to Faro for dinner with the family. We went. The house was on by Faro Italian restaurant. Went upstairs, and he picked this dachshund. Gave $700. Then he moved out to be with his girlfriend. And now it's my dog. So when he comes to the house, he says, whose dog is it? Where did this dog come from? I didn't know he had a dog. Because it's been like that for maybe 11 years. I've taken care of the dog. I love dogs. I wouldn't have gotten a dachshund, but what am I going to do? I can't not play with it. I can't say, sorry, you're not mine. And I just leave it alone. Wants to play, go out, have fun. So I got to take care of it.
So does he sleep like in a bun bed?
He sleeps with Andrea and I.
Looks like a hot dog bun. Sleeps with you and Andrea. Well, there you go. That's Planned Parenthood. That's birth.
That's exactly what it is.
I'll tell you, unbelievable.
He's very jealous.
Is he?
He's all mine.
Right.
He always wants to be with me.
Right.
When I'm not home or I go out, Andrea and Jared.
So your dog's gay.
Jared tells me, and Andrea tells me, he's whining. He always wants to be with. As now, when I do these podcasts, he won't leave me alone.
He won't.
When I go to Zorro's with Andrea, or we go to wherever I go on a Saturday night, if I come, I have to check in a hotel so I can relax for 2 minutes. Because when I come home and I want to listen to Saturday Oldie Show, which is a Philly radio show I used to listen to growing up, or watch them, do something to rest my head for 2 minutes, I can't. I have to go on vacation where the dog's not with me. Because he won't leave. He's like a kid.
I get it. And they never grow up. But they're a lot of fun. They give you unconditional love as long as you give them an unconditional bone. They'll give you unconditional love. Otherwise, they'll take your life.
What is unconditional? People say, what is unconditional love?
Well, they're always the minute you walk in the house, their tail is wagging and they're so freaking happy. Like I mean, how could you leave me here this long? Woof, 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 woof.
Right? Yes.
So they're excited. Tell me, when was the last time your wife wagged her tail like that when you came home?
God.
Oh God. Well, let me tell you, this dog, this border collie had, once my wife was baking, so she ate a full pound of butter. She climbed up on top of the thing. Anyway, she didn't eat a laxative for a month. Everything slid in, it slid out.
Is this your mother's dog?
No, this is my wife's dog.
The collie.
My late wife's dog.
How did the collie get butter?
She climbed on top of the kitchen counter and grabbed it.
And your wife saw the
after it was gone. The butter was gone.
So your wife didn't say, Larry, did you use up all the butter? Like she figured the dog took it?
I think so. What am I going to do with a pound of butter?
Make toast.
David, I'm lactose intolerant.
Okay.
We'd have to leave the house afterwards.
So what do you do when the dog eats the butter?
you get a diaper.
Oy vey.
What do? You send it for detox.
Okay.
Anyways, my mother's dog, we waited a year. The dog was always really hyper, barking and chasing and playing with its squeaky toy. We said, okay, it's time to calm the dog down, so we decided that we're going to get him neutered. Okay? Well, the neutering didn't help a damn thing. He still liked to hump my mother's leg whenever he could. And second of all, he would start chasing after squirrels now. I finally figured out why he was chasing after these squirrels. He was trying to get his nuts back.
Oh, you are fantastic! Write it down! Who's your comedy writers?
They're all self. The squirrels. They said, what are you, nuts? You can work this yourself.
I've never had a dog that humps my leg. None of my dogs. Not
really?
Afraid of thunder. They don't. Yeah, I've never had that. I don't know.
My mother's dog. I could go ahead and hug my mother to say goodbye, and the dog Louie would just grab her leg and start humping and barking and humping it. All right, every single time. So my mother would turn around and say to me, "Hug me again." In fact, the dog would scratch at her door in the morning to get in. My father never did that.
Is any of this written down? They're great.
We don't have to. It doesn't have to be written down. It's here. It's as we're doing it, as we're going on.
These are great. Yeah.
So, anyways, do you know? How about your dog? Does Riley social? I told you we should change his name to Anthony. Anthony Weeder. But anyways, that's not going to happen. In the next life. So, you know how dogs socialize? They see one another in the park the first time. Right away, they sniff each other's butt. Can you imagine if humans did that? We'd all be in jail. But for dogs, it's socially acceptable.
Because that's how they tell each other, and they sniff their shit, and they sniff. It's the Mother Nature.
That's right. That's right. It's the way they do it. And then they go ahead and dogs, they show affection to one another too. They hug each other.
Yes.
All right. And you know that's like base one when you're playing the bases, okay?
Yeah.
And then they sniff each other, obviously, say, hey, what did you have for dinner last night? A little bit too much spice last night, I think. It's not really good for your stomach. And then forget about phase 2 or 3. They go straight to stage 4, home run. And if it doesn't work, he's home with the stuffed animal, and he's having his way with the stuffed animal. life is to be a dog. You know, they get away
pe-
with absolutely everything.
People said, when I grew up, going to school, my dog, I never want. I never wanted to go to. When I was in school, I used to get all A's. Hey, shut up! Hey, sit down! Hey, what are you doing over there? I was teacher's pet. She couldn't afford a dog, but I gave my teacher an apple. She gave me a kiss. So the next day, I brought her a watermelon. But here's what I want to tell you. When I
fall off my chair.
when I was a kid going to high school, my mother wakes me up. I have to get ready, and the dog's sleeping, and I would think, look how lucky this dog is. He gets to sleep and stay home all day. So people say the life of a dog, it's a dog's life. That's what they say. It's a dog's life.
That's why when you come home, their tail is freaking wagging. Action! Now I'm going to take David out for a run.
25, and my dog likes to go for car rides. So as soon as he sees the car outside, he stops and he looks at me. I mean, he communicates. We communicate with each other.
Do you do?
Yeah, and I take him for.
You're like the dog whisperer.
I take him for rides all the time around the block. He's thrilled to go, and I think, how does he know this is a car? How does he know that? He's a dog. He's an animal.
They're smart. They're smarter than human beings. They are.
I'm amazed. Larry, Andrea is away at the business, and she's in Winnipeg. Yeah. And the dog sleeps with us. 2 nights ago at 10 o'clock, I'm watching. I said, "Where's Ryan?" He went to bed. But he went to bed on his own. He sleeps in our room. And you figure when Andrea and I go to sleep, he goes to sleep. But I didn't go to sleep yet, and he went to bed on his own.
He was tired.
He's tired. I mean, he sleeps maybe on the floor. We have a bed for him in the living room. But
how old is he?
11.
So he's a senior, for God's sakes.
He went to
He's
the
like,
bed.
77 years old. He's older than you.
But how does he know? Well, I'm tired. I'm going to go to bed. He
was busy. He was busy the whole day chewing that bone, playing with that squeaky toy.
You're right.
Unbelievable.
And Larry, when I get up in the morning and Andrea and I get up to get coffee, he stays in bed. He doesn't get up with us.
Come on.
It's crazy.
Wow. Does he complain about his knees?
No.
What knees? No wonder he wants to go for a ride. This way he doesn't have to walk.
Right. He's still like a puppy. His energy, people think he's a puppy. He's still walks and fun and play. Won't leave me the hell alone. Wherever I sit down on a chair, the living room, my office, the kitchen, he has to be on my lap.
Really?
Constantly on my lap. I'm like a James Bond villain. Constantly.
Amazing. I love it when dogs are like that. And they bring so much entertainment and love into you. Empty it. If I was upset, my border collie, Sydney, would just come over and knew how I was feeling, and was right there for me.
Yeah.
Unbelievable. I used to walk my dog. I lived right near you at the time. I used to walk the dog from there to your rich Starbucks.
Oh, really?
Every single day. And as she got older, it took longer and longer because she used to stop to smell everybody's post.
Yeah, that's correct.
For us, it's email. For there, it's P-mail.
You're right. Okay.
And it's true. It's true. Because you know what? Dogs, they pee everywhere to mark their spot, right? So they know it, right?
Yes.
That's their persona. That's their makeup, all right? That's what dogs do. So they pee on everything. They pee on their own stool. Can you imagine a guy going into a bar and peeing on a stool? What's going to happen? You're going to get thrown out. I tried to keep it clean, but it doesn't.
Do you have a room of comedy writers there with you?
I have nothing. So anyways, I'm walking around on last week downtown Lauderdale by the Sea, and I see these 2 dogs in a stroller. I don't know what kind of dogs they are. I didn't even ask. But anyways, I see these 2 dogs, all right? And they're wearing sunglasses in a stroller. I said, my God, this looks like David. They could belong to David. The same sunglasses. Unbelievable.
Oh, that's so funny.
I went into a pet shop down there in Lauderdale by the Sea, and I see that they have these little stuffed animals, stuffed toys, okay? One's a Biden toy, one's a Trump doll, and the other one is a Kamala Harris doll. And I'm seeing that there's a bunch of Biden dolls, a bunch of Trump dolls, and one Kamala Harris doll there. So I say to the guy, I said, so what's going on with the clerk? I said, what's happening with these dolls, these Trump dolls? Why? Well, the female dogs come in and they run away with their tail between their legs. And what happened with the Biden dolls? Why are there so many of the Biden dolls? He said, well, the Biden dolls, the dogs go up to sniff them, and the doll stiffs them back. So dogs freak out and they're running. All right. So what about the Kamala Harris? I guess the Kamala Harris dolls are hot because there's only one or two left. He said, oh, no, we found out that the only dogs that liked them were Chihuahuas, so we sent them all to the southern border.
Oh, God.
Anyways, as I'm walking around downtown Fort Lauderdale by the sea, I see this guy walking around with this cat on a leash. So I'm looking at it and said, this is unbelievable. This is a dog that's trans-species. He's identifying as a dog.
Oh, you are, oh, God, fantastic.
Unbelievable.
Save Me Dog Rescue is a foster home-based rescue with members throughout southern Ontario. The rescue just celebrated its 10th anniversary and has taken in over 2,000 at-risk dogs. While in a loving foster home, the dog is provided with all their needs, including the best veterinary care. Their ultimate goal is to place these dogs with a carefully chosen, fully screened forever family. They take in many high medical needs and senior dogs as well. Dogs requiring extensive veterinary care, which can range from advanced diagnostics to surgeries, extensive dentistry, cancer treatment. These incredible veterinarians always do their utmost to help these dogs. There are times that these dogs are considered palliative and they live out their lives in the foster homes. In many instances, veterinary care can run thousands of dollars. Without donations, they would not be able to get the help that they need. Through generous support and contributions, it's possible for them to help those senior dogs who have been neglected. Without rescue, very few of these dogs would make it out of the shelter. Save Me Dog is a registered Canadian charity. It's an amazing cause, and I personally donate and have donated for years. After all, these guys and gals, they depend on us. They give us unconditional love. This is the least we could do for them. Please visit www.savemedogrescue.ca/donations. Again, www.savemedogrescue.ca/donations and give today. Thank you.
So I think let's talk about some stuff in the news this week. It's been a big news week that's been going on. Jeff Bezos for Amazon is getting sued by one of his caretakers of his house. This woman's complaining that her living conditions are not comfortable enough for her to live in. She doesn't have easy access to a bathroom. So he said, easy access to a bathroom? She has to climb through the laundry room to get the guy lives in a friggin' mansion with probably about 20 bathrooms. And she's suing him, and she's suing him for $9 million because she kept on getting bladder infections. Unbelievable. Isn't that incredible?
It's incredible that anyone would take the case. How would they find somebody to...
Well, they found a lawyer will not take a case. In fact, the lawyer that's representing her says that he feels that his client is very credible.
So
he feels that his client is very credible. Imagine a lawyer saying that about their client.
So what do you think's good? So this lawyer is an ambulance chaser, is that right?
Well, I'm not saying anything like that. I'm just describing the facts, David. I
understand. All right.
I would never bash another.
Of course not. So so what? So the lawyer. So she complains. She gets a lawyer, and then what do you think's going to happen? What happens?
Well, my recommendation is that Bezos settles with her, and instead of the $9 million, gives her an Amazon Prime account for free for a year, and let her buy an outdoor urinal for herself. And a portable cup. You know, the whole thing could cost her $120, maybe $200 a day. All right. Now, another thing that happened in the news is the U.S. Customs have seized a ship that arrived, a cruise ship that arrived from China, and it has a rare fungus on it. So they brought it out to sea and they're disinfecting it. Now, can you imagine what a close marketing plan this is? The Chinese now are going to sell a lot more disinfectant in the United States through their dollar stores by importing a bacteria or a fungus or whatever it is. It's a brilliant market. It's more brilliant than your marketing scheme.
You're right. Yes, yes. You're like
another one.
Yeah.
Okay, another news article. This is what we've got. Jimmy Kimmel says he lost half his fan base over anti-Trump jokes. He quoted this himself. He was warned by ABC to stop his rhetoric, and he says, "I can't do that. If you want somebody to be more neutral, then hire somebody else." And they didn't. They just kept them there. So basically, you got Kimmel, who's basically lost 50% of the fan base, and he's following the same track as Trevor Noah and what's her name? Samantha Bee. Also, both are losing their job. Samantha Bee, I think, is already gone. Pursuing other endeavors. And Jeffrey Toobin. Remember Jeffrey Toobin?
From where?
He was on CNN.
Right.
He got caught playing with himself during a Zoom meeting.
When was this?
Oh, this was like almost a year ago. So he got suspended from CNN, all right? And then they rehired him back a couple months later.
Well, I want to talk about the playing with yourself, that story. How does anyone know he was playing with himself?
He was on a Zoom meeting, and everybody saw.
Well, I better put it back in my pants right now that I didn't know you could see. I didn't know you could see. Oh, boy.
I'm going to have to cut that also, what you just said.
Let me ask you 10 questions, please.
Sure.
He's on a Zoom call with what? With people from work?
From work. They're having a meeting.
And why would he play with himself at this meeting?
Well, that's the whole point. Why? The guy's so freaking busy, he didn't have time at night.
And he didn't know that people could see him?
You're asking me questions that I really, obviously,
So you're...
How do you want me to play it? Yeah, he did. He liked an audience. I already mentioned that.
I don't... Well, then I didn't know you could see. Jared, bring my pants. I didn't know that Larry, my viewers, can see me. How can... I don't understand what the hell's going on.
Oh, the world's nuts. The world has gone completely nuts. Scratch it. Okay, so what's going on in your world besides your dog giving you a pedicure right now?
My son does a podcast with my other son. Lauren does a podcast with Jared every Tuesday.
Beautiful.
And they were doing a podcast today, and he says they're on Zoom. And he says, Dave, I take my computer and my computer camera, and we talk on Zoom. We bring on guests on Zoom. He says, you have this whole Frankenstein laboratory set up here with the camera, the cords, and the bullshit. He said, why can't... So I'm asking you, why can't we do what they do? Why do we need the Cameo and whatever I have here, Riverside and whatever's going on?
David.
Yes.
Let me give you an example, okay?
Yes.
This guy is out swimming. He's going to go ahead and buy all this expensive scuba gear. Okay?
Yes.
He's buying everything, tanks and flippers and snorkels and masks. He's fully in. He's up with his tank and he's swimming around at 30 feet. And he sees this other guy with no tanks, nothing at all. He says, why did I have to spend all this money? He says, I'm drowning.
Right, great. That's correct.
There's the answer. Did you hear about the 3 dogs in the veterinary's office?
No.
One dog says to the other, he says, I'm here, I have an anxiety issue. I eat my master's shoes, really expensive shoes, and I don't know what to do with myself. They're going to put me on anti-anxiety medication. Okay, and how about you? He says, me, I'm just so friggin' hyper. I can't go to sleep at night. I can't go. They're going to neuter me. I'm going to go in, I'm going to get neutered. He said, and how about you? What's happening with you? He says, well, my master, when she's bending over dusting the coffee table, I couldn't help myself. I had to jump her from back. So you're going to get neutered too? He says, no, I'm just here to get my nails done.
It reminds me when Andrew and I went to a sex therapist, and they said, how's your sex life? I said, well, the dog sleeps with us in the bed. We can't do anything. He says, well, you don't just have sex in the bed. Whenever you have the urge, you don't just take advantage of the opportunity. So what are you laughing at? So the other day, Andrew was bending over to get potatoes for dinner, and I had the urge. So I went right in there. They threw us out of the A&P. They threw us out of the A&P. Who the hell knows what A&P is anymore? A&P.
Oh my God. It's like I was walking when the pandemic started. I was walking through the grocery store, and I see this woman with a mask, and she's wearing nothing else. I said, what's going on here? He says, well, he said, you have to wear a mask. No one says, but clothes are optional.
I don't know what the hell's going on, Larry. I'm in my own little world, as my wife said. It's true. I'm happy in my world. I'm very happy.
Are you?
Because this world is nuts, so I'm happy in my world, yes.
With your dog?
Yes.
Unbelievable.
Okay.
So likes to drive around the car.
I'm like driving Miss Daisy. That's what I drive him around 25 times a day around the park. He wants to go for a ride. The dog is taking over the whole house. Yeah, he takes over the whole house. It's his house.